Welcome back to another episode of Beekeeping Buddies. I'm Steven.
And I'm Luke.
Oh, man, it's been hot, dude.
I have been working in the hot. I have been feeling bad for the guys I'm employing that are working in the hot. The 16-year-old did call in sick one day because he didn't want to work in the hot, and he didn't tell me that. At first he said, it looks like it's going to rain, and it wasn't going to rain. And then he said, I don't feel good. I'm not going to the market, which is actually in the shade, today. And I said, okay, not a problem. And I went to the market today because the 16-year-old is in band camp.
Yeah.
And I switched my shirt once during the market, sitting there in the shade on the black asphalt, though.
How many sales did you have at the market?
I sold about $150 worth of, so like 10 pounds of honey. For 2 hours.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I got to admit, I'm one of those beekeepers. I have not been in the hives in the last 2 weeks because it's just been too hot, man. Like, it's been here in central Illinois, the humidity has been off the hook. 65, 68, 70. I think it was 77% I saw today.
Yeah, it was
miserable. With a heat index of like 115. And so we're going to have some how to stay cool in the bee yard tips.
Yeah.
If you're out there having to be in the bee yard.
Not what I did today. I was in the bee yard today. Don't do those things.
So there's been a couple of items for personal coolers that have popped up on my radar. One is probably a neck fan. I think you talked about having one.
I have a neck fan. I sweat so much. Like, I sweat a lot. It's through shirts, and I'm always worried about having something electric around my neck.
I feel like this is a tested use case, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, but I still don't want to get shocked. I don't like to get stung. I really don't like to get electrocuted.
I feel like it's all low voltage, 5 volts, right? It's just a little battery-powered fan in the thing.
Yeah, maybe.
USB.
It's rechargeable. Yeah, it's USB rechargeable.
It's USB. It's all. So I saw another one of those. Is yours a fixed horseshoe size, or is it sort of bendable?
I believe it's fixed horseshoe size.
So the one I saw had a little articulated joint in the back.
Huh.
And so you could kind of, if you were a wide-necked individual,
yeah,
you could sort of spread it out to get it around you, and then you could collapse it back so it was a little tighter around your neck. I think that the point was to improve the airflow up along your head, and so it wasn't just floating around out by your ears.
Do you think this is use? This is not per use in bee yards. This was just keeping people cool.
These are just a generic.
Do you think that the frequency of the fans is going to have any impact on the aggressiveness of the bees?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But it's worth. Because weed eaters.
It's all inside. It's all going to be inside. We're going to put air quotes inside your suit, because if you're brave enough to wear a suit in this kind of weather, you're better than me, because it's veil only, boys.
Yeah, I suited up today because I was pulling queens, and I didn't expect to be out there for more than 20 minutes, and I wasn't. It took me 20 minutes to pull 3 queens off of 3 hives that I had to find the queens.
Do you have an old Dayton white canvas suit that's not vented?
Yes.
Have you experienced the difference between classic white,
canvas,
like a Dayton canvas
yes,
jacket and a modern vented one?
Yeah. The modern vented one, it still needs some breeze.
Yeah.
Doesn't take very much. It just needs like a ghost whisper of a breath, right, to feel it in the modern vented one. But in the Dayton one, you're just cooking. It's just like, that's the one I pull out for winter, fall.
Yeah, you would think it with the white it would reflect more than
it does not.
But I don't. I think it's just straight up hotter.
It is. It's just too. It's too much. The canvas is too much.
Do you have one of the first gen vented that?
Yes, that's the heavier. That's like not quite vented yet. It's like it has some holes.
No, the first gen it's multiple layers.
Yeah, 2 layers and like kind of heavier material.
So there's like a thick, like 1/4 inch material that's got thick knobbies, and then there's like almost like a fishnet.
I don't have
on
that
top
one.
of that.
I have one that is.
That's a lightweight netting on top of that.
No, I don't have that one.
That was it. That was the original Breeze.
Okay.
Whatever, and because I think the new style that Hilco is selling just looks like a one-piece like foamy plastic material.
It's two layers of it. There's an inside layer and an outside layer of it. But yeah, it's kind of a one-piece foamy plastic material.
I wondered if that was hotter than my OG material.
That one's the one I use for everybody that's new, and I like it as far as how hot it is. Mine looks terrible. I didn't think it looked too bad. In my head, it didn't look too bad. And then one of my guys told me that it looks bad, and then he forgot his jacket, and he had to wear my jacket as I'm teaching people how to treat hives, treat with oxalic acid. And I looked at him, and I was like, ooh, that one looks like I've been rolling around in the dirt in my front portion of my shirt, and it really needs to get washed. And if I'm just by myself, it doesn't really matter. But if I'm out in front of customers, I probably need to deal with the way I look.
The around the neck one, and this one supposedly had cooling plates on it. I think just sort of give you a hint that there's something cool on your neck. I don't know if it's actually going to do a lot to cool you. The fans might move a little air past you, which is definitely going to help. The second one that I thought was a more compelling product looked like it was about the size of a hairdryer, except missing the nozzle portion where the heating element of the hairdryer is.
Sure.
And missing the handle. So sort of the body of the motor where like a drill motor and a fan would be.
Okay.
Fan blade.
Yep.
And then it had two belt clips on them in opposite orientations, one at the top, one at the bottom. So the one at the top, you'd clip on your pants, your waistline, and then the one at the bottom was opposite that on the opposite face, and that was when you were supposed to tuck your shirt into, clip your shirt into it. And I think you get them as a 2-pack and put one on either side, and the idea was that again it's battery powered, that it would blow air up underneath your shirt. So again, trying to get some air movement up against your skin. Which I thought might be a good option for if you're wearing a bee suit, because it gives you an opportunity to get some airflow up underneath the suit and up against your skin, where you get some cooling there.
I've often considered of not wearing a shirt underneath my bee suit.
I wondered about that, but I burn real easy, and I was always concerned about
I also burn easy, but
the amount of sun that you would potentially get if you were doing that.
I was going to say I don't have much of a farmer tan, but
and then you rolled up your sleeve and
it's significantly different. Yeah, it is a bright white.
Yeah,
as I go
you're whitey
as I go up my arm underneath my t-shirts. I do. So my go-to things are I carry dry shirts with me. Usually this time of year, I carry 3 other shirts in the car that are dry and that I can switch into. Because I didn't think it used to make a big difference, but once that shirt is soaked, you're not cooling off anymore, right? Your evaporation's just not there. So that's the one I do. The other one I do now that I didn't used to do is that I bring the car with, and the car is always nearby, and
a little cooling station.
And I turn the car on, and even though I'm burning gas to do it, the air conditioning set to like 60 or as low as it goes, where it goes, are you sure you want to do this? And the fans are kicked up all the way high. And it's a cooling station, and 2, for my new beekeepers that I'm training, it's a spot where they can hide, right? Like, oh, I'm overwhelmed.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, if they get girls chasing them.
I'm hot, I'm overwhelmed, yeah. What do I do? And into the car, right? Sit down in the car, start the car up, sit there, let the air conditioning blow on you for a second. So those are the main 2 things. And then I have my water and my backup water, and now I have my backup water. So I have my 1.2 liter bottle of water, which is a decent size. I have a gallon and a half of water that's also ice cooled, and then I have my non-cooled distilled water that is usually room temperature-ish.
Well,
whatever car temperature-ish.
Whatever car temperature is, yeah.
Yeah, and those are my three things. Like, those are the three things that every day I go out, I'm like, do I have my shirts? Do I have my water? All right, and I've got my car. We're good.
Speaking of staying cool, the hives need to stay cool also. We were having to do some alterations to our goat watering setup for other reasons. And we were going to take out the large water feeder temporarily, switch to some buckets for some animal health reasons. And we delayed getting rid of the large animal waterer because the whole edge was covered in girls drinking from that source. I've always heard that, and this is not a super, like, this is sort of, it's got some goldfish in it to keep the mosquitoes down, and it's got a slight green tinge to the top, Yeah. It does get topped up this time of year. It probably gets topped up about every 3 days, with the hose. So it gets potable water. If it rains, it'll catch some rainwater. But I've always heard that the girls, they like a slightly off water source, something that's got some flavor to it.
Yep. Some salts, some minerals in there.
Yeah, the classic thing was you could provide the best source of drinking water that you thought they would love, and they'll still fly to the neighbor's pool.
Yeah. The top of my dad's a blacksmith, and the top of the coal cap on the blacksmith where the coal is kept.
He's got an IBC tote that he keeps his coal in.
Yeah,
and so he's cut the top off the IBC tote that he throws back on top.
Yeah, and that collects like a small puddle, and they aggressively drink down that puddle. And then my peat moss, I have a Venus flytrap that I'd given up on, and I put it outside. It has now come back to life, and the peat moss that they're planted in, because that's what they grow in, attracts more bees than any other feeder I've put out. That thing is constantly being attended to by honeybees. They don't touch the traps; they just want the water in the thing, and it's watered with rainwater. So I don't know if that matters or not, but they really love it. So there you go. If you're for those of you people that ask now, they have asked in the past, how do I make a bee feeder? Get some peat moss into a container.
A lot of people want to know how they keep the bees out of their bird feeders.
Oh yeah,
and the reality is you're just not. They're the ideal source for. It's a little stagnant. It gets some turnover.
Not bird feeders. Bird baths.
Bird baths.
Yeah,
bird baths.
Yeah, bird baths. Yeah, the stagnant water source. But if you are looking for something to water your bees, peat moss and probably a bird bath with some water poured in there, you'll decrease the evaporation.
Bird baths are nice because they're typically shallow. Yeah. And they have lots of, they're usually concrete or stone or something, so there's a lot of traction there for the girls to walk into the edge.
Yep.
And if they land in the middle, that doesn't take them long to buzz over to the side and they
struggle off.
Because they usually taper out to nothing, right? There's that water comes out to a zero. It's not like you got a vertical lip like a bucket or something.
Sure. Yeah, they don't do well in buckets.
No. If you're going to use a bucket, throw some sticks or something in there,
yeah.
Some floaters, so they got something to climb up on, land on. Not much, as I haven't been out in my bee yard. There was a bunch of activity one day. Wife thought it was a swarm. I think it was just they'd been cooped up and got cooler in the afternoon, and everybody decided to come out and go get water or find some nectar.
I was surprised at the lack of activity. It was really hot today. Hot and humid, like we talked about.
There's not a lot of activity.
And I was worried, to the point where I was worried about what was going on in the hives. And they are covering brood and fanning. Yeah. So I almost got my FLIR out to see the intake and output, to see what was going on, because I expect that they are really actively trying to cool that brood down. And it's rough in the full sunlight. And the Pro Nukes are really, really not good in full sunlight.
No, they're not.
We talked about them before, but right now I pulled queens out of 3.
Yeah,
because I sold them today. And I pulled 3 queens out, and the queens are marked and they've got laying patterns, but the brood's doing everything they can to just keep things cool. And they've moved to the middle even. Like there's the active frames are just in the middle.
I also understand you've been feeding some.
I have, yeah. Not mostly me. Mostly my sidekick, Hank, has been feeding this year. He's been feeding, and I've got another hive that's further north of us, about an hour north of us. He's got 2 hives, and he's actually feeding. And he's mostly feeding so that they have stores put away for winter, because winter's, I know it's 100 degrees outside, but it's coming. And also to draw comb. So the ones that are actively, I found that if you feed and you have waxed comb, you're really pulling out foundation right now, and it really helps getting things, instead of trying to feed in like October, it just doesn't work. Like
you think that how on a scale of 1 to 10, for 1 being spring flow and 10 being the driest dearth, where are we?
I thought we were more like 10's the driest.
Yeah.
I thought we were at like a 4 or 3 or 4.
Oh, no,
I thought we were. We are not.
No.
I put some frames out. We were talking about earlier. I put 2 frames out of a hive that collapsed, and it wasn't a big hive. It was in my observation hive. I can never get anything to survive from that. It's not really made for them to survive in. And they had a couple frames of honey, and I set those out, and they were buzzing. Like they covered them and the side of the garage I had set them up next to. Like they were immediately on them. So I think we're probably closer to like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I would say at least a 6.
Yeah, which is strange because I'm down at the river and all the silver sage is still in full bloom.
Well,
So location matters.
At my property, we've gotten like 3 inches of rain in July so far. So we're right at about an inch a week. It's average now. It hasn't been real consistent. You get a thunderstorm of about a half inch in about a half hour, but it's still real wet. It's still like I had to dig a hole in the yard with the excavator, and it was dry, but it wasn't as hard and dry.
Cracked earth dry.
So it's still hanging in there. I got some clover. I mowed some paths down to the garden, some walking paths.
Yeah.
And within a couple of days, the clover popped up out of that. Some Dutch white clover popped up out of that. They were still working that about a week ago, but I think that's all tapering off now.
Well, and I've got some hives up in Edwards. I've got 4 hives up in Edwards. They sit on top. They're sitting out in a field, and it's like a grassy field. It's probably waist high grass, and it's bee balm, grass, and coneflowers. And that thing is, I know those are still bringing in nectar because I pulled a frame and looking for a brood and turned it on its side, and it rained nectar all over the hive. So that one's still, I think location really matters for what's going on. My one further way up in like Galesburg area, those are really slowing down unless you're on like a field of alfalfa. Like the alfalfa fields are still producing. They're still in bloom or just barely gotten to seed. Right, we're barely there. So location matters.
Yeah, crops are doing well. We got our sweet corns coming in. Have you had any fresh sweet corn this year that you haven't bought from the grocery store?
Yeah, I picked up some from a farm stand. I was out in the middle of nowhere, and they had a farm like a crossroads in the middle of nowhere. Corn as far as you could see. A high school kid selling corn. Yeah, sweet corn. I think it was $1 for 4 or something like that. Super cheap, and it was really good.
So I know my tomatoes and cucumbers are doing great. There's a ton of blooms on those. Peppers are doing great. Quite a few blooms on those. Yeah. Second or third set of blooms for tomatoes, so I'm sure the girls all hitting those. Yeah. I think you were saying the soybean flower was
just coming on, I think.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of hives that sit on a soybean field, which I was told was really bad for them. So we'll see. This was one of my major producers of honey. One of my largest hive producer. I think we pulled 6 supers off of it. That was on a soybean field. Half of it's alfalfa, half of it's soybean, and also has a farm. Like they do watermelon and strawberries and stuff like that. That one did really well. but the soybeans just come in. The soybeans basically got no insects on it. The alfalfa is well past when it should be cut, but I'm not going to complain because it's all in bloom. Probably going to go to seed here pretty soon. And that one's just full of pollinators, just a field full of butterflies and bugs.
All kinds of bugs.
Yeah.
I think we're skipping in the news this week, because we were looking through trying to find some stuff to talk about, and it looks like we're a little short on news articles, unless we want to talk about the death of Ozzy, but that's not real beekeeping related.
Other than being sad. Real sad, but not beekeeping related. There is an article that we're going to review eventually about temperatures of brood in the hive. That was part of my master beekeeping course. One of the teachers there.
I was to say
we haven't read it yet.
Yeah, your project for your master beekeepers class is wrapping up.
It is
doing the FLIR work on the camera, and it sounds like the consensus is there's no discernible way to determine whether your hive is queen right from an external view of a FLIR camera.
I would agree. That I would say no way to do it that way. There is little things called GOVEs, G-O-V-E, G-O-V-E, two E's.
Govee, that's computer hardware that's probably mostly known for its LED lights and sort of background stuff you put around your gaming computer, but I guess they've got some nice remote
thermostats.
Sensors,
yes. So that were on sale during Amazon days. So I picked up a dozen of them, and I'm going to put it into hives and probably do like a follow-up study of, hey, are you guys queen right? Are you guys not?
So how those require Bluetooth? Those require
just a Bluetooth connection to your phone.
Yeah, so they're only going to report data when your phone is within range.
It stores data for up to 3 months.
Oh, so it'll store the data locally, and then when your phone comes in range, it
uploads
the data. All right, got it.
So I'm interested in seeing how well those work. That was something that I saw somebody use. Actually, the University of Purdue was using them, and then somebody there who was there for the queen rearing course was using them. So I'm gonna try them.
What's the?
They're about an.
No. What's the thought on what are we doing with that data? How is that useful to us as beekeepers?
I don't know yet. I think my guesses are strength of hive, and which I'm still in my bees regularly, but strength of hive and did they swarm, and maybe through winter it'll give me a better idea of what the humidity levels are through a hive and how that works.
The winter, I could see it being more.
Are you alive with it?
Yeah, are you alive?
Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah. It would provide more insight is the word I was looking for in the winter, as opposed to in the summertime when it's just hot, right?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's maybe I'll find something interesting with it, right? I don't really know right now, but I'm interested to see.
Did you ask the other people what they're doing with the data they're collecting, having one of these sensors?
Yeah. One of them swore that you could determine if a hive has swarmed or when it specifically swarms by looking at the data, because you can see a temperature drop when they all leave. It spikes when they're all getting ready to go.
All the activity,
and then it drops when they leave, and you can look at it and go, "Oh, this hive is swarmed." So I'm interested to see if that's true. I could see a population difference cause that. But I don't know.
I could understand how that would happen.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see the actual trend in the data support that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But it's something I've always wanted to look at. Like, we talk about humidity, and we've talked about hooking up a hive with sensors for years.
I wanted to do weight, so I can monitor the weight of the hive as it goes up and down. Yeah. And then I think that would be a good indication for dearth if you start, build, and then it tapers off. As soon as it tapers off, right, your flow's done because you're not significantly adding to the hive.
Yeah, that would be a good. That would be a neat one to do.
There's challenges there, I think, that I haven't fully fleshed out yet. But
they have kits for them, but that feels like cheating.
I mean, But is it?
Yeah, maybe not.
To my point, my issue was I wanted something that I could set up along my row of hives to data grab like 4 or 5 hives in a row.
Like at the same time, or on the same weight scale? Or?
No. They need to be on their own set of sensors,
Okay.
weight sensors. But it would feed a central, like
a pie or something.
A pie, central pie,
Yeah.
and then I could go and download the data instead of having. Because I assume if you buy a kit, then it's going to be a standalone thing, and then you have to manage like a network of all of these devices, and then
I think the kits they have basically go into a pie. They're not cheap though, and I know that. So I'd looked into this before, and the issue that I saw with before was that the bridge they use to measure weight has a fatigue.
Yeah.
And so it drifts.
So
you have to actually put a drift, and it's a known drift number, and you have to put that number into the calculation so that you can see over time, you can see it.
So the electronic scales, you can get the electronic scale sensors really inexpensively, but it was my understanding that they suffer pretty, they have a pretty large drift associated with them. So if you keep constant weight on them, they'll just sort of keep adding. It's as if your static weight just keeps growing.
Yeah.
And for something that's cycled, they're repeatable and accurate for something that's cycled, and you don't see it. But if you just sit your 50 pounds on it and then you just leave it sit there and watch, then those sensors drift, and that's exactly what we're wanting to do. So I don't know that that's a great solution there, but it's also one of those things that you think you hear about it, and it may in fact not be an issue. You're just going to take hooking up and actually doing it to figure out.
I looked at the code for a cherry pie for this, and in there it actually denotes drift adjustment calculation. So I'm pretty sure it's a thing. Even so, I don't know how much I should look, how much the scales are for like a hive, but getting 100 of them or getting half of 50 of them.
I don't know if you need that many, right? You could probably sample
like 3 or 4.
Yeah, one, for different yards, and then 3 or 4 in your yard. Sort of a representative sample of what, because you're in your hives, right? This is sort of an average population for my hive, as opposed to this is a weak one or this is a strong one, or maybe you intentionally set up, especially this one was weak coming out of overwinter and this one was strong coming out of overwinter, and you specifically want to monitor those two and see how they change.
Yeah.
Certainly
with location though. Certainly I want multiple ones for different locations.
Who's going to swarm? Because you clearly would pick that up,
right?
When 3 pounds of bees leave your hive,
sure,
all at the same time. 5 pounds of bees.
Oh no, my big swarm. My big swarm is you can't tell that it was not a overwintered bee. It's so big.
Yeah, but I mean, like 3 or 5 pounds of bees leave. That's
true.
You're going to see that number. Like that's going to be just a drop in the weight of the hive in one like 3-minute segment, right? Like it's going to show.
So then you have to
noticeably.
put the Govee in so that you can see the temperature change. To see
and correlate with
the data.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So questions. We did have a couple questions come up.
Yep. The OA strips versus OA vaporization is the first one that I got come up. We got 2. So which one matters? What does it matter which one you use, and which one's better? So we've kind of touched on this before, I think, but maybe not. You have guesses before we get into it? Do you remember us talking about this?
Yeah. Well, I know we talked about strips before, and it was my understanding that the strips that were just commercially released are intended to be a mite maintenance item. So if you have, I'm going to throw out a mite level of 5, and you put strips in, you could hope that
which is 5 per 100 or 5 per 300.
Well, I mean, we're just throwing out a number, right?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Roxanne is the name of the strips.
So if our mite counts 5, we put a strip on, and we hope to maintain 5 for the better part of the summer.
Yeah, the duration that the strip is applied.
Duration of the strip is applied. So you don't see a significant increase in the mite level. You don't see a significant decrease in the mite level. It's just sort of a maintenance item.
Right.
Versus like an oxalic acid treatment that is intended to have a positive impact on reducing the number of mites in the hive.
Right. That's what I remember also. So my takeaway from it would be, can you use Viroxan strips or any oxalic acid strips in the hive to decrease the mite load? I think the answer is no.
No.
But you can use it after you've treated, particularly like in spring, and keep the mite load low. I will say that the hives that I've used it on this year, I had some Viroxan strips from a listener who said, hey, I bought a package of them because they come in a package for like 20 hives. You can't buy them less than that. And the hives I used it on have chewed the hell out of the strips. There's barely bits of them left. And that hive, the 3 hives that I put them on, did really well after I treated for mites in the spring. Over a 25-day period in the spring, I treated for mites. So I treated every 5 days for 25 days with 4 grams of oxalic acid per box.
And you also made your own homemade strips, though.
I did. My own homemade strips.
How have those turned out?
Yeah, they did okay. I would say that my own homemade ones, the glycol in them, I think is, so the amount of glycol to oxalic acid is fine. It seems to seep a lot of glycol across the hive into the frames itself. Like when it gets hot and humid, it doesn't crystallize really well. Like on some of them it'll crystallize really well, and you can see the crystals build up on the outside of the sponge. On other ones, it's pretty wet and it's pretty wet, and it stays kind of wet. It doesn't really dry up. And I think that either I've got the mix level wrong for like how it gets on the sponges. Maybe I'm soaking them too much. But they're okay. They do fine. They don't. If the hive thrives, a couple of the hives thrive with it. A couple of the hives just kind of stumble along. And the hives that thrive with it are drier levels of glycol in those pads. Or drier. They're not quite as wet of a pad. And I think that's the key is that get it wet, don't get it totally soaked.
Yeah, and that's I guess some of the pitfalls associated with trying to DIY your own solution to this as opposed to buying off the shelf mite treatments.
Yeah, the nice part is that I can just toss them. I don't feel bad. Like compared to Amatraz that has the plastic strips.
Yeah.
That I have to dispose of.
Yeah, but we're not using those anyway because they become ineffective.
Yeah. Yeah, they're at least for a little while, right? I've been telling people that asked, hey, lay off your Amatraz for like a year, a season or two, find some other method so that because they're not effective, because they're building a resistance. If you keep using them, we're just going to enforce that resistance. And then other question that I had was queens, which usually happens further on. It doesn't like August. It's end of August. And beginning of September is usually when I get calls for queens. But introducing queens. Do you have a tried and true method of introducing queens?
No. I just the standard, hopefully they're queenless for about 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then the queen in a cage and some sort of candy plug, marshmallow, something or other. I've stuffed a piece of wax in there.
Yeah.
Although I gotta admit that the 3 times I've stuffed a piece of wax in there just because I've had nothing else handy in the bee yard.
Yeah.
They never seem to chew the wax out. They don't seem to be motivated to chew through that like the candy is. Like I feel like half of the reason why they chew the candy out is they just see it as a
food source.
Sugar source.
Yeah.
And that's why they're chewing it out. And they're like, oh, there happens to be a queen in here.
Yeah.
But every time I put a wax plug, a chunk of wax in there, I always have to do a manual release after a couple of 3 days.
But she stays alive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're still feeding her.
Yeah.
Right. They're still tending her through the screen.
Right.
Which is, I mean, like, I guess if you aren't if you don't do a good job in ensuring that your hive is in fact queenless, and you put a queen in a cage in there, then you're going to have problems.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess my first tip there is to make sure you're actually queenless.
Yeah. So that one kind of breaks my heart. I've had lots of people call me in the past. I won't take queens back anymore, because I've had people call and say, hey, I ordered a queen and I put her in and your queen's in there, and hey, I found eggs. And I'm like, I've already made this hive queenless over here. You've been sitting on the queen for 2 or 3 days. I'm really sorry, but I'm not taking that queen. You've ordered her. You make a split, do something else.
There has been several times I have had students will reach out, hey, I think I'm queenless.
Yeah.
Can you have a queen available? And I'm like, well, let's start with, are you in fact queenless? And then you go over there and check, and like the second frame you pull, there she is running around.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did you do that? I'm like, brother, I can't. I could try to explain it, but let's go into your hive and let's see how you do it. And all of a sudden, there's a ton of smoke involved, or
even in the 5 frames today, when it was 100 degrees outside, the first 2, I'll admit, I missed the queen. I looked for, and I had them marked. I marked them myself, and I missed her. The one actually tried to tag me. First time I've ever seen a queen stinger come out, she tried to tag me. She was not happy to be touched, and I don't blame
when you
her.
grabbed her?
Yeah, when I grabbed her. She didn't sting me, but she tried. She made a butt move over, and before I put her into the cage. So, the main thing I tell people is really go through, and if you really want me to come out and take a look at your hives and save you $35, it'll cost you $20 for me to save you $35. But at least then
still going to have the site visit charge.
Yeah, you have a visit charge. Because it's just a lot of people right now that confuse dearth and or slow down.
Or
I can't see queens.
It's hot. The weather.
Yeah.
The
frustrated. It's hot.
Midwest thunderstorms pop up, and they sense that really well.
Yeah.
And they'll get super testy, and I mean super testy. I mean, like,
they are
spicy
they
AF.
have personalities, right? Like I have a site right now that is pretty awesome. In my point of view, it's probably not awesome for the customer that's got them, but one hive is mean. They are like, and I had the lid off. The customer wasn't there. I had the lid off, and there was a black swallowtail butterfly floating around, and it was like, hey, look, there's a lid off. I'm gonna go check out this hive, and you could see it looked like a black buzzing hand came out and smacked it, and it immediately turned around and like usually they kind of flutter. And this one like zipped as fast as it could go. And that was my mean hive. My other one, take the lid off, walk away, come back 5 minutes later. Oh, hey, could you put the lid back on for us?
It's a little hot here.
Yeah. So one's really mean, just real hot all the time, and they're right next to each other. It's not like they're far away. 6 inches away from each other at most. And personalities matter.
We did a cutout last Saturday.
Was it that far long ago?
Was it Saturday? When was it?
It was Saturday.
Was it during the week?
It was during the week because I went into the office and told them we did the cutout.
Yeah. And we were shocked at how many cars were taking up parking spaces
during the day
at like 11 o'clock on a Tuesday or something. Anyway, that hive was not super testy.
No.
I got stung once or twice, but I was the guy doing all the comb handling up on the scaffold.
Yep.
And usually the guy handling is going to get stung once or twice, but I didn't get any bumps at all.
I didn't get any bumps. I got stung because I didn't see her. It was a hand squish. Oops.
Yeah, but usually some of them, you take that first board off and they'll be all up in your grill.
But that was useful. That was a useful use of the FLIR because we had a heck of a time figuring out where they were.
It was a really weird location. Yeah. They were crawling in a gap right at the transition of a landing, an exterior staircase in an apartment complex. And they had a landing, so you went up half a flight of stairs, a half a story,
Yeah.
and you did a switchback on the stairs and then went up the other half.
Yeah.
So because of that, the landing of the stair was like halfway up to the side of the building. And so we've done some cutouts on these buildings before, and so we had a general understanding of where we thought they would be. But then we got to looking at it, we realized that the architecture, the building style, the building construction, that's the word I'm looking for, was not the same in that location as it was for where we normally do the cutouts at. And because of that, there was like, are they in the wall? Are they in the wall above? Are they in the wall below?
Yeah.
And what we did some probing, had a 1/2-inch drill bit and an endoscope camera.
Yeah, the walls turned out to be well insulated.
Yeah, and so we punched. It's a lot easier to patch a little 1/2-inch hole, and so we punched a couple of 1/2-inch holes. And our second one, I cut the first board off to see where they were going, and realized they were not going where we thought they were going to be.
Yeah,
because there was solid framing behind the trim board, which where we thought we were going to get a joist cavity back there behind the trim board. And so then we busted out the FLIR, and we were looking at the wall up and down, and you eventually decided that the FLIR said that they might be in the ceiling of the landing, which would have been the floor of the landing.
which is a weird place for them because there's going to be lots of vibrations.
Yeah.
It's not a great place for a hive.
And so instead of drilling a hole through the ceiling to probe, I was like, hey, why don't we drill through the front side, because I'd already taken the trim board off.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the scope was like, yep, there they are. So then we transitioned. We had to move the scaffolding and pull the ceiling down, and we were only 3 feet off the ground at that point. So the scaffold was pretty easy to get to.
Not
out of the shade,
one.
in the shade. But the point is, they were, all in all, they were really pleasant to work with. Did you get them installed? Are they?
They're installed. I haven't gone through and checked them because I just treated them for mites.
I saw the queen about the 3rd frame in, but we weren't set up with a queen cage at the time, a queen clip.
Yeah.
And by the time we got a queen clip out, she had disappeared, and I never saw her again.
Yeah. So I haven't gone in to look. I've got. I meant to only give them like a couple of days, but I got busy. I've been very busy.
It's too hot.
Well, no, I've been busy. I've been doing stuff, and getting into that hive was not on my priority list.
They'll just do beehive things this time of year. It's not like they're going to explode in size and overrun you.
No. The good news is that we got 3 more cutouts to do.
We do,
there.
but there's like hell. I'm going to do it in this weather, dude.
We've got 5 total lined up.
All right. Well,
one in Morton, one on a little house in the middle of nowhere that I'm not real excited about doing.
I think we need to make sure we get paid like up front for that, because of all the other ones, that one sounds like the sketchiest to get paid for.
Yeah, it is not a house that I would pay. I would tear down that house. Is what I would do with that house.
This isn't the little tiny shack, is it?
It is.
So he sent me pictures, and this looks like nothing bigger than one of those portable garages that you can see sitting in the parking lot of like a Lowe's.
It's
and I swear it's one of those, dude. It's tiny.
Yeah, it's got more to it than that, but it is probably
from the front. That's what it looks like. You went around to the back. It looks like it's got a couple of shed additions on the back.
Yeah, it's probably from the 40s.
Yeah, it's 100% 40s.
Yeah, it is. It
It's
an
an
old
after-war house.
Yeah,
coming back from the war, and we just throw up a shack,
little
floor is
tiny. Floor is a little squishy.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little teeny tiny town in the country.
Yeah.
But hey, it's cheap, right? $100 a month to live there would be better than a hotel room. I guess as we wrap this up, we have our droning on segment where we talk about what you might be doing in your bee yard for the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Between episodes.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have an upcoming August meeting of our bee club, probably.
We are. I was supposed to speak during it, but I think I got bumped. I got bumped for somebody else.
All right.
So, and I said, that's fine.
That's fine.
You can let somebody else speak. Not a big deal.
I do have honey that I
Corey Stevens is going to speak.
well, that's a good bump.
So I'm okay. Step
Yeah.
aside for Corey Stevens.
I still have probably 5 honey supers that I need to pull. 5, 6.
I
7.
have one site that has a deep full of honey and 2 supers on top of it, and 2 others hives that each have, one of them has 2 supers, the other one has 1 super. And then I have another site that has 2. They have 2 hives with each have a super, and I probably have another 5 supers. I probably have, all in all, I probably have another 200 pounds of honey that I need to go through. That's my honey. I have an interesting location now that has totally stopped communicating with me. They have 6 hives that I was managing, where they had a pretty hefty bill that they decided to sell the property, and now they're not talking to me.
I feel like this is your second property that you were managing hives on in the more than 4 category of hives, and then they decided to sell the property and
Same property.
What?
Yeah. Same
I thought you dealt with that property years ago.
Yeah. So that property got that first one got sold. They transferred the contract over. They paid me. That first property paid me, by the way. And they paid me in advance.
Yeah.
They sold it to somebody else.
Yeah.
This is last year they sold it to somebody else.
Yeah.
They are now selling that new owner.
This is not the same property we got the flow hives from.
Oh no, that's a different property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So we are.
So
my
there's
story
2.
was correct.
Yeah.
That this is the second property
Yes.
that we had multiple, like more than 4 hives that we were managing.
Yeah.
That had great plans to expand into.
Oh yeah.
Various bee tourism and
Yeah.
fun things, and had a sizable contract value.
Yeah.
That decided to close up shop, and you ended up having interesting deals with trying to salvage bees and hives and equipment and costs and bills and
yeah. I think that's part of running this kind of business, though.
yeah.
And you're right. For that one, I had a clause for them that said, at any time we can decide to end it for either one of us. That clause is still in there in this other contract. But the first one, they actually communicated with me still. They would talk to me. This one has ceased all communication.
This is the one that they're from out of
Florida,
out of state.
Yeah,
and they were using this as an alternate.
It's supposed to be a bed and breakfast with also. I'm also going to come there and stay myself sometimes.
I feel like there's probably some logistics that fell through on all of that.
Yeah, certainly. So they don't talk to me anymore, and I'm still struggling with. All right, they're not paying me, but there's bees out there, and the bees really need to be. I know that they have to have hive treatment, and something needs to be done with them. And are you just selling them to this new owners, or what's going on? And they have a ton of equipment. I mean,
yeah, but
10 bee suits worth of equipment.
The whole point was when you set up these contracts in this business is these are your hives.
Yeah,
you're paying me to clean your pool.
Yeah,
which means at some point they don't pay the pool. The pool cleaner stops showing up. They don't feel bad that there's a pool sitting in a backyard.
Yeah.
Turning green,
but
and it could be nice. It could be used. It could be productive.
Pool boy that loves the pool.
Sir, you're getting paid to provide a service.
Yeah, I know.
And we talked about this, that these weren't your bees that you were renting or you were leasing a site, because if something happens to those, if they were to grow legs and walk off, you don't want to be responsible. It's their equipment. It's their bees.
True.
And you are simply the guy that's paid to come in
and manage them.
Yeah. And at some point, if they no longer want to do that, you got to walk away.
Yeah, that's a good point. If other people agree or don't, you guys can always write us and tell Steve that he's wrong. He loves that.
Absolutely. I mean, feedback is great.
You can tell me that I'm wrong. I get told that a lot. But yeah, absolutely. Reach out to us on our email. It's beekeepingbuddies@gmail.com. Or you can comment on our YouTube videos. We got a couple of comments. We had somebody comment from overseas. It was pretty awesome. I responded.
Okay. Awesome.
They are happy.
Thanks.
Yeah. So thanks for that. And then we've recently passed 3,000 listens.
Ooh.
I know. So 3,000 listens over a year.
I feel like it was not too long ago that we hit the 2,000th listens, so maybe we're getting
It's not.
some momentum there. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. Been doing this for a year. If you're enjoying the podcast, let us know.
Yeah. I have family members that listen, so I appreciate my family members listening. It's always nice, but it's also nice to get the people that you don't necessarily know. That I've had a couple stop by and say hi. And, we should do something for, I'm getting my certification, my Master Beekeeper certification.
Yeah.
If everything happens like it should, and the paper gets written like it should, there's a bunch of stipulations on there.
I feel like there's a lot of what ifs there, but
yeah, but I expect to pass.
the flight path
Yeah.
says that we should be landing with a Master Beekeeper certification.
Yep.
At
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. Well, that does not sound like a lot of time, sir.
It is not a lot of time. There's a paper that has to get written.
Because you've been working on this for what, like a year and a half now?
For my certification?
Yeah.
It's been technically you're supposed to wait a year in between, but I did my master and my journeyman, your second level.
Yeah.
I did those back to back because I talked to the teacher and said,
yeah,
this is I got a high A.
Yeah.
In the first one, and I said, "Can I just go? I would just like to do my master."
Yeah.
And so they waved me through, and I tested out of my initial one.
Apprentice.
And I think I first tested out the first 2 levels.
Yeah.
So for most people, it should take 4 years. For me, it took me a couple of months, but realistically, I've been doing this for 10 years. This is year 11 that I've been beekeeping, right? So, and I'm pretty active in the learning journey that I've been taking to do this. So
yeah, and we take a pretty active role in a lot of teaching and mentoring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Providing classes that I think the average hobbyist beekeeper does not put the effort into trying to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
And there's certainly a difference there between just being somebody who's active in the hobby of beekeeping, or if you're one of the rare ones that's in the commercial space and listening to our podcast while you're out there working. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, no kidding.
Certainly doesn't.
They're probably laughing. They're like, those guys are wrong.
I know, right? Wouldn't it be nice to not have to go out and work in the hot?
Yeah. They're
Exactly.
crying. They're crying about 100 degrees.
Listen to this guy, not even looking at his bees. I had to be out there every damn day. What amateurs. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So we appreciate everybody listening. Tune in about 2 weeks when we'll have another episode where you can find out everything that's going on in our backyard and take your buddy with you to do some beekeeping. Thanks for listening.